Tony Noakes, and he will be followed by Julie Fisher.
Hello, Tony Noakes. Well, here we are again with a rising tide of concerned citizens who are sick and tired of non-enforcement of codes and broken promises from council and staff. In fact, quite the contrary has been running amok. Variances on developments being given out like candy at Halloween, sweetheart deals being given to developers, and staff playing a shell game of keeping content from council so they can't make informed decisions. Oh, and the games people play, because with an accumulative effect of kicking the can down the road on bad decisions and the not in my backyard mindset a la Mrs. Gabel-Luddy, we have a net result of all kinds of issues in which residents' quality of lives are being assaulted by, well, in a nutshell, greed and lack of oversight, and more specifically, traffic congestion due to putting things where they don't fit. Talaria, Walmart, 55 North 3rd Street, IKEA, the Dr. Orloff building, all deemed some kind of exceptional project worthy of looking the other way instead of the reality and facts. Hence the current issue before us tonight of McMansions, or more specifically, getting an IDCO approved to stop this egregious abuse of neighborhoods. Once again, bloated, code-violating overbuild in which a few get what they want at the expense of many. And once again, we residents are confronted with a powerful entity, the Burbank Association of Realtors, who are trying to sway things with money and scare tactics to their favor. For example, the double standard of how they pick who they endorse for city council candidate. For one candidate, one of their own I might add, Christopher Verzati, it is alleged that the deal was done before January 1st, in which rank and file didn't get a chance to vote, nor was there an inclusion of the other candidates until weeks later. Just another one of those sweetheart deals that magically gets done with no proof as to how. And you know, kind of like the Talaria land parcel sale to the Cusamanos. And that same candidate magically gets outside money flowing in from the National Association of Realtors Political Action Committee out of Chicago to the tune of approximately 40 grand, yet Mr. Rosati assures us he has no control over it, nor is it needed. But then he assured us of that after the election and after it was all spent on him. And since he's attempting damage control after placing a distant third, I wonder if Mr. Rosati will somehow convey to these so-called outsiders that no more money needs to be spent on him, since it's not needed. And meanwhile, since the Burbank Association of Realtors is all about disclosures, well, perhaps they can tell us how he got endorsed before any of the other candidates even got interviewed. He did at least did get interviewed, I would think, Mrs. Cunningham. Did he? Please let us know, because as responsible citizens, we are sick and tired of having information withheld from us. Speaking of which, the Burbank Association of Realtors posted a flyer on the City of Burbank Facebook page about a week ago. On it, they stated, quote, "We oppose this action concerning the IDCO." Then they proceeded to state, quote, "An IDCO can last up for 2 years." Well, guess what, folks? It can last for a lot less, too. They also, I'm quoting them, "The effects for all Burbank homeowners could be severe." Well, chances are the effects are more likely to be a godsend for the vast majority. And quote, "If there is an IDCO in place, it must be disclosed to a potential buyer." Well, oh my, aren't realtors required to disclose to buyers when they know a McMansion is going to be built next door to that buyer's future dream home? Better yet, do they disclose to the McMansion builders the loopholes that currently exist so they can make them even bigger? And here's another quote. "It creates uncertainty. It could drive those buyers to neighboring areas." Oh, well, they must mean like how McMansions do the same thing to potential buyers, because nobody wants to live in the shadow of a giant foreboding wall that's anywhere from 6 to 10 feet away from their sanctuary. Right, Mrs. Gabel-Luddy? Then the Realtor Association goes on to say that this is not the right way to solve the issue. Well, yet, folks, they don't offer a solution. They ask for time. And the fact is, this issue has been a bone of contention for over a decade. Measures were implemented back in 2004. How's that working out for us? The 2004 IDCO is currently getting abused with the help of staff and council, just like the Burbank General Plan 2035, another exceptional piece of work, I might add, which is with its ridiculously undefined policies being used to usurp codes and grant developers excesses that have gotten us here today. Mr. Scott, you stated in a leader article, quote, "The moratorium could last as long as 2 years while the city develops comprehensive code changes." So what? Newsflash to Mrs. Cunningham and the president-elect. Things are already out of control. And by dragging your feet again, you will just be allowing those who know how to game the system to flood the building and permits department with grandfathered requests to overbuild. Please, enough. Vote for the moratorium and give us codes that have teeth that bite with no gaps. and then follow through with enforcement. But most of all, no more sweetheart deals and code variances. That protocol is a broken model and has opened a Pandora's box of issues that negatively impact us, the residents of Burbank. Protect us, Mrs. Gabel-Luddy, not the Burbank Association of Realtors. Thank you.